Well, I've got the pride flag up. It's June, and went to the Gorham Flag Center to get this one, a high quality pride flag. Actual stitching between the colors. If you're getting one of those Amazon cheapo screen printed pride flags, how much pride do you have, really? Welcome to the Deliberate Mainer. I'm Jeff. I'm going to start off, got some sad news. We've had a death in the family. When my son was little, he's a teenager now, he used to name all my tools, and this is the first battery-powered drill I ever purchased. Got it about 15 years ago, and my son named it Mr. Drill. And he's been a loyal friend, Mr. Drill has. And honestly, still works fine, but here's the issue. It uses the old nickel-cadium batteries. This is the only tool I have left on the old nickel-cadium battery system that Makita used to run for their 18-volt tools. It's the only one left, but I've loved this drill so much I just kept it going and have my little nickel-cadium charger with the other battery on it. The problem is these batteries are so old now, they hold a charge for about, I can drill 2 holes with it and it'll die at this point. It's gotten real bad, so I had to do something. Took it over to Batteries and Bulbs, said, could you repower these? They said, sure. $80 per battery. I have 2 batteries left from that old 18-volt system to repower them with new nickel-cadiums that would hold a charge for longer than 2.5 seconds. Now I'm on the 18-volt system, Makita's new system, with all my other battery-powered tools. I go around and pick up antique Makita cases for them because you can buy tool only and save a lot of money. I have a bunch of the 5-amp batteries, or in this case a 4-amp battery. And these old Makita cases are perfect for these 18-volt tools. So there's my impact right there. Got a grinder that's 18-volt. A little saw, that's my trim saw. That's actually one of my favorite battery-powered tools now. And then I have a slew of others in the family. And then another one of my favorites is this Makita weed whacker. This thing's great. But as to Mr. Drill, I had to make a decision because I can get, and ended up getting, the comparable drill. So you compare $80 just to repower one of these batteries here. Well, I got the equivalent, modern day equivalent drill for $100. Here it is. And I like it. Takes the modern 18-volt 5-amp batteries that I like. Even has an LED light. And it's actually more powerful than Mr. Drill. We're gonna have to raise Mr. Drill to the rafters, unfortunately. R.I.P., my good friend. So as I spend the day remembering Mr. Drill for everything he's done for me, we're gonna build a trapdoor. Trapdoor for a project that I'm building up the coast. Here's the opening. At the time I called it the stairway to heaven in the opposite direction because it was pretty tough there with that ladder staircase. But it's this hole here that I'm filling with a trap door so that when you come up the stairs you can push it up. It'll stay up by itself using a weight system we're going to build here today. And when you close it, it will stay down. So here's the door. This is the door that used to be in that spot I just showed you. But here's the issue. With the new staircase that I built, and I'll throw a link up there if you care to check out the staircase I built for this barn. Well, with that staircase, the size of the opening increased almost a foot. So this is nearly 4 feet, this original door. It needs to be 5 feet. So first thing we need to do, I've cut these 2 pieces of poplar And we need to affix them to the ends, on both ends. And we'll do that with a biscuit joiner. Here's my little pile of materials for the trapdoor system. I have these 2 lead window weights. So there are 2 of them. I only need 1, have 2, just in case. Then I have these pulleys. So I figure I'll need 2 pulleys because we're gonna have the rope's gonna come up to 1 pulley about near here. And then there's gonna have to be 1 over here. And then there's because this is balloon construction, old school style in this barn, there's a big cavity in the wall. So if I have the rope in the middle or over to the side, the wall is here. The idea is to have it go up to a pulley here and then over to the wall to another pulley and then have the weights dangling here. And they have a throw of about 8 feet they can travel to keep this door up. The idea is to have the perfect amount of weight so that when you come up the stairs, push this door up, it stays up by itself. But when you push it down, it won't come back up. I didn't want to forget the handles that were on this door. They're actually really neat. I'm definitely reusing these. These are super cool. So reinforced with these little pieces of wire that go all the way through. Crudely cut. Of course, no power tools. So just totally cool. Then this one here, which is a little bit more refined, but still cool. So we'll be using both of these. So here's my my biscuit joiner here. And I ain't gonna tell you how to do it, but this is how I go. I just draw a line where I want a biscuit to join. So I'm going to do one here on both pieces of wood. I'll do one here. We'll do one right here. Now the idea is taking the biscuit joiner and running it in there. And if you've never used a biscuit joiner before, what they do is they cut little slits at the points you mark. Slits in the edge of the wood, the butt end here. Right in here. You slap one of these biscuits covered in goo in there, on this side, put them together, clamp them, you're good to go. So I'll get doing that right now. It's go time. You see the little slots there? I have slots on my board here, and yes, I should have gone down a little bit more, but it'll be fine. These are what are called biscuits. They look delicious, wafery, and they go right in these slots here. And with glue and clamping, they go together. Slot, slot, together. So that's how that works. We're going to do this on both ends. And then we'll have enough length to fill that space that you saw. After trying Type-On 3 in my last project, I've decided I'm sticking with Type-On 2. Way better. I worked in the newspaper business for many a year before going full-time carpentry. And they had a saying in the newspaper business: never screw with the guy who buys ink by the barrel. And so I've moved that around. Only trust a carpenter who buys glue by the jug. Gotta glue these bad boys together. Got the slots here. Got a bunch of biscuits. So we're gonna glue this all up, clamp it together. Instead of using the bottle and going along, it's really best to get right up in here and get every surface and spread it out evenly. So I'll do that on both sides, on the board and here. Then I'll completely goo up the crevasses here, if you will, crevices. With glue, stick the biscuits in, put them together, clamp it up. All right, got them together. And see, the benefit of brushing the glue on like that so you're not globbing is it doesn't all come out the ends here. Just a little bit, that's sandable, but when you glob it on there, just using the glue bottle like that, it'll all come rushing out and you'll have a big mess on your hands. Oh, we've got all the clampage for this bad boy. So we got to clamp together. I used the original door supports to clamp it here. Might cup up a bit, but nothing that can't be sanded away. Gonna let the glue dry a bit. I'm really not keen on adding supports here if I don't have to. So if I give this a couple hours, it should dry up so that it's stable enough to work on, because I want to get going on my pulley system. I've grown impatient. I don't want to wait 24 hours before I can fully manipulate my newly glued joints. They've been sitting here about a half hour and I've just been staring at them, thinking to myself, geez, how am I going to move on with this project? Earlier this week, I'll show a picture over here, I did new armrests for a set of 1970s era swivel outdoor chairs. This is teak here, so I made new mahogany armrests for those chairs, but I haven't thrown these away yet. And man, they have the perfect patina for this project. So I'm thinking one here, one here, same on this side, and just put some screws in over on either side, glue them. We'll sand these up first so that I'm not doing it on the door, plus they have contours. And I want to get a good surface for gluing. Oh yeah! I love reusing old pieces of wood on something new and different. It's a shame to throw away anything with lumber prices the way they are, so let's use these. Gonna put some nice little pilot holes in them for screws, and we'll attach them. Oh yeah, baby. All right, we'll have to drop the table a bit. It's a little bit longer. You gonna make it? Oh yeah. All right. Take two. Here we go. So what that bit does is it just sinks a little hole there for the head of the screw to sit in. Just give it more of a finished look. All right. We'll repeat the process and on all four of these pieces, and we'll have big enough holes to screw stuff through. Got them all drilled. Nice sunken holes. I found some appropriate screws in my stash. I'm going to use these 1¼ inch bad boys here, and they're going to slide right through here and then sit flush like so. So we'll glue off the bottoms of these, and I'm going to put them roughly at the 3-inch mark from the end, and that'll just tie old door to new piece of door. I'll spread it out a little bit just so it doesn't squeeze out the sides here, but just give it a little spread like so. Then, like I said, I'm going to put them about 3 inches. We'll just slap it down here. Look at that. 3 inches-ish on the dot. And we're just going to impact some screws right in. That's going to firm it up quite a bit. I was just worried that over years of use that glue joint might have come undone now. Glue is technically stronger than the wood itself, but you know, it's going to be a trap door, so give it a little extra oomph. Clamps off! Little pieces of teak to connect the two together. A little bit better than just the biscuit joints I put in here. All done. There is the door. Now it's a little long. I always leave things a little long until the finish up process. An inch is going to have to come off of each side, but I want to make sure the door's perfectly square. So in other words, one side might have to be, or both sides would have to be at an angle to get it so that it's square. So it gives me a little play room on these old doors. Let's take a look at the other side, shall we? Okay. There we go. I'm going to cut these to length and then start working on the trapdoor system. So I squared up that end and made the cut. So we'll take the track saw, and I just took the measurement I need, which is 60¼ inches. That's how long the door needs to be. And I'll take the track saw, and I can see there's a slight angle to this top portion. Take the track saw, chop that off, and then we'll have ourselves a door to play with. We'll sand it up and start building our trap. Spent about 45 minutes with my Festool here, which is great. 0 dust. Sanding this at a 60 grit just to get everything smooth, so there's no rough edges between the original door and the new pieces here. Really rounded over the edges so it equals what's going on with the old door. So now I have the 220 on there now. I'm gonna make it super smooth because after I build the trapdoor, I am gonna finish the door. I'll stain it and poly it just to give it a really nice look. The door is finished. It's nice and smooth. Ooh, very smooth. Ready to go for testing, but in order to test, the job site's an 1.5 hours away, and I'm certainly not going to bring it up there to test, and that's the whole purpose of setting it up now, so when I get up there, I can make the best use of my time and just throw it in. So, in order to test it properly, I need to build a fake rafter. So I'm going to attach, I have a 45-degree angle cut in this 2x4. It's a 12/12 roof, which is the easiest to frame because of the angle, but also the hardest roof because it's so damn steep. But I'm going to take this, I'm going to attach it. There's floor to the roof line about 1 foot. So I'm going to tack it right here at the 45. Then I'll have a rafter coming up, and I'll be able to take the door, put the hinges on it, which I should have, yeah. Put these hinges on there. Attach it right to the workbench, and that way I'll have the test bench that I need. To the bench. Okay, look at that. We've got a rafter. All right, hinges engaged. Hook to the bench, here we go. So you see what we were after here. Here's the fake rafter that imitates real life up the coast. It's a 12/12 roof line, so it's just a 45 on that 2x4 attached to the bench at the same distance the rafter starts from where the door will begin in the barn. So here we go. It's going to flip up like this, and we need a pulley system that's going to come up and then go down into, on this side, there's a cavity in the wall that goes all the way down to the first floor where the weights will be able to ride. So we just need to figure out, A, where do we need to put the attachment for the rope on the door? B, where do we need to put the pulley? And C, how much weight do we need to keep this door open? It's pretty heavy. I would say this is about 15 pounds. Oh, hi. Next morning. As you can see, I've taken down my faux rafter. Still have my pulley strung up there to test the trapdoor, but after giving it a go, I came to the sad realization, as far as being able to show you right now, that I'm going to need the full space of the actual location this door is going to be installed to figure out the weight system. So that'll have to wait. So after I took that down last night, I threw a quick coat of Helmsman on here. And man, it turned out pretty good. Looks pretty sharp. Got these new ends on here. The original door. Really came out nice with the coat of poly on it. Again, these are just the stripes from the sawhorses. What's really cool is the other side. The other side really has an aesthetic I'm loving. I put one of the handles on here, so that's going to be, as you come up the stairs, this will be over your head, and the purpose of the handle here is to be able to pull the door back down. So got that on there. This really has a cool DIY, could have been built 100 years ago feel, as long as you don't pay any attention to these Phillips head screws, that is. But that's the aesthetic I was going for on this door. I didn't want it to look like something that had been done recently at all, and I think that got accomplished. So actually, I'm going to leave it on this side because I'm going to blow it off here with some air, give it a second coat of poly. All right, I'm going to just use this little chip brush and throw another coat on here. And I don't know if anyone else uses chip brushes all the time like I do, but if you do, and you're anywhere near Portland, Maine, let me know where they're hiding all the 2-inch ones, because I can't find one in town here to save my life. Can't imagine why that is, but someone's hoarding them. Just look at that sweet Helmsman going on there. We're just globbing it on. This is going in a barn. It doesn't need to be Cape Elizabeth perfect. So I'll finish this up. We'll flip it over and do the other side. Well, boy howdy, look at that, will ya? Man, that came out great. Christ, I could almost put legs on that and sell it in town as a table. Yeah, this is quite the reclaimed furniture piece. When you look at it, it doesn't look like it's going to be a trap door in a barn. Yeah, I could sell this in town to some gentrifier for $800 with a set of legs on it. Yeah, I could see this table residing in a fancy living room of some Millicent in Connecticut. I can hear the cocktail party now. Oh yes, I found this lovely table in Portland, Maine. It was made by a native. Isn't it delightful? Lucinda, could you fetch us another cocktail? Who told you you could take off that mask? Yeah, she's pretty. The shine will come down as it dries. It's a satin Helmsman. But yeah, no, pretty cool, huh? That's the new trapdoor for the barn I'm working on up the coast. And I think it came out very cool. Let me know what you think down below. So that does it for this episode of A Deliberate Mainer. Again, I'm Jeff. Thanks for joining me as I bid adieu to my drill, rehab this old barn door, this trap door going up the coast, and gave it a poly job and did a failed testing operation for how it's going to lift up, hold itself up with weights. Turns out I'm going to have to do that on the job site, but I'm glad you stuck along while I gave it a go here. I just don't have the the floor space or the height here to test it in the shop. So we'll do it out in the field. I'm sure it'll work just fine. At least that's how I see it in my mind. I'll see you next time.